Okay, how to create fading text in processing. This is fairly simple, but it can look really nice when working correctly. First off, let's make a timer. We need to declare two floats for this. One will hold the value for how long to delay before it repeats. The other will hold the time that's passed in milliseconds since it last repeated. It's best to call these something logical. We're just going to call them time interval and time passed. Alright, next we need to assign them some values. So in your setup method, we'll set a screen size first. Something reasonable. Now, time passed is equal to milliseconds that have passed. And your time interval in this case we're saying 2000. That means that every 2 seconds, because we're working in milliseconds, our fading method is going to repeat. So now we'll get started on the fading method. So yeah, setting up the actual timer. This is how we set up our timer. If less milliseconds have passed, or sorry, a greater number of milliseconds have passed, then your time interval plus the last time it was counted, so time passed, then time passed equals the new value for milliseconds that have passed, and then whatever we want to happen. Right, so the actual fading part. So, as you know, when it comes to colors, you can assign a grayscale an RGB but also you can set the transparency by including an alpha value. So as you can see, that little rectangle is a bit transparent because we assigned it an alpha value of 100. So we're going to create two integers. One is going to hold this alpha value, so text alpha. And let's set it to somewhere in between to start with. And our other is going to be how quickly our text will fade in and out. So let's call this text fade. That's set to 2. Right, so now in our text fade method, once the timer has gone through the 2000 milliseconds, then we're going to make it so that text fade is reversed. So basically every 2 seconds our our text is going to increase in opacity and then decrease in opacity. Or transparency. So our text alpha is going to gain text fade every frame. And because we set text fade to 2, that means it's going to go up in increments of 2, plus or minus depending on time. So let's create our text. So yeah, we'll want to set our fill, and this is going to include our text alpha. So let's make the writing white against a black background so it's easy to see. And this is where we're going to include the text alpha integer that we made earlier. And now our text. Let's call it something original. Oh, and of course, we'll also need to. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah, we'll need to include our method, of course. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So, here we go. And there you have it. Text that fades in and out. Of course, this works for more than just text. Ta-da! Oh, there you go.